Welcome to Metal Gear Online. We might change the channel name to Metal Gear Online. We got a teaser of what could be Metal Gear Online, and we're going to break some things down and give you guys all the details you need to know. Yes, you're looking at Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater's new teaser for and more. Not exactly saying that it's going to be Metal Gear, but I believe it is an online player. And so we're going to dive into some of the discussions and things that I feel I need to point out. Before I do, I would like to note that your opinions are important because this video I will hopefully send to Konami directly so that they can get information about what the community wants and they can see more or less what is important when it comes to gaming in general in 2025 and beyond. They already have their model, and I believe they pretty much have the games finished for the most part, but we're going to add some things to it and bring it to another level. And so if you leave that in the comments, as well as you have a chance to win a copy of this game, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, and some exclusive items on the channel, which I'll continue to announce and then select random winners in the comment section. So stay tuned and lock in. Let's do it. We're going to talk about MGO for the rest of this video, so feel free to buckle up. Okay, so first things first, MGO has been around for a very long time, since the original Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. It came out and it was pretty interesting and fun, but of course it's very unique and different than what people are used to. So not everybody caught on that it even existed, because by that time the Metal Gear Solid series storyline was so amazing, people didn't even know there was an online feature. And so I want to kind of take a moment, showcase a little bit of what the visuals looked like. This is the character model, and I had a buddy of mine's do a little demonstration of some of the mechanics, some of the weapons, and this is how the game looked and looks. This is the original MGO back in the good old days. And so there's plenty of upgrades visually, right? But we're not here to talk about that. But I just wanted to kind of point out some fun and funny elements and things like that, where it's a very, very cool system for what it was at that time. But now we are in a new day and there's a new world out here that we're going to get into. And so the first thing I want to say, just to kind of set expectations for the fans, if this is true, and of course this is speculation, I haven't got confirmation yet, I will email Konami this video with questioning if it's confirmed or not. Pretty much hinted at many times in my investigations. The guy who ran MGO 2 and 3 is the one who teased that there's going to be online features for Delta. So we can basically kind of rely on him for that. And now I want to kind of move over and talk about what we can expect. And I know you guys might not appreciate this as much, but I'll definitely help you kind of get into it. So every Metal Gear Online, the mechanics as far as gameplay goes has always been pretty much a copy of the original story. So when you played Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, MGO 1 had those mechanics. And when you played Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, Metal Gear Solid 4, that gave you MGO 2. And then you go into part 3, which was the Phantom Pain, and those mechanics were what we got for the multiplayer. So every single one will have the mechanics, and you're watching right now as Snake does a dodge, a roll, he does different mechanics in here, right in this gameplay teaser that they showcased, which I believe we're going to have more soon. This is more than enough to tell you, okay, this is more or less how this mechanics will work. That dodge roll right there, that's what you're going to be capable of mechanically, and then the way he shoots and the way he moves will be more or less what we can expect. So this is me just giving you facts about what we should expect mechanically. Now, from what we saw in this clip, in this small little teaser, this looks like the Phantom Pain, and this looks like specific areas in the game where you're going to be capable of using that stealth camo and doing something ridiculous, because this has never been in the game. This is outrageous, where you can turn into a piece of the actual environment, which is outrageous. Let's just take a look at that for a second. Right here on the left, you're looking at what is supposed to be a human, and the person that ran by them didn't even see them. So it's a very cool system where on the right, person's there, or on the left, both sides. Super interesting, and you're gonna watch it live right now so we can kind of talk about this new technology that's going to be in MGO. I can't call it part 1 again, remake, or I can't call it part 4 yet until we know what they're going to call it. But whatever it is, this is high tech elements involved. So they're just want to give you fun times. And I want to take a pause and go into MGO 3 because I do feel some of the mechanics will be like MGO 3, specifically the player control. So the way the player moves from Delta feels like the Phantom Pain from everything that we've seen so far, outside of having the dodge and the fast speed run. Those are the two features that Delta looks like they took away from this original gameplay. So you're going to see here, these guys sprint and they move too fast. In Delta, you don't move as fast when you're sprinting. So see this right here, this sprinting is way too fast. So I believe they're going to go a little more tactical because Delta's a linear game, unlike the Phantom Pain. So that's a good thing for the combat, because if we guys all played it before, MGO is originally supposed to be tactical gameplay. So you don't want to just be a turbo speed runner type of play. But what I did want to talk about outside of this and kind of get into what I hope and expect for us to have in the game, one of the biggest requests and the most important requests, in my personal opinion, is the one and the only menus. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff in here that we're going to get into. First thing I want to talk about is the lobbies in MGO 2, even though I know this game is not going to be MGO 2, guys, but I just want to talk about the features that it has. In MGO 2, you had in-game tournaments, you had survival. All right, you get rewards for winning this and you move up the ranks. Very cool stuff. It's 2025. This should come back, plus a rank mode on top of this, in my personal opinion. You could even create your own lobbies where you can practice and do things, which we'll get into in a minute. But I wanted to go into creating a match very quickly and kind of just going down the rabbit hole so you guys can see some of the features and the reasons why I love this. Okay, so in here you can put passwords, you can create the name of the lobby, and of course advertise myself right there. And then I'm going to go into the settings, and this is very important. I can edit and put a specific game mode that I think is great, and I can change the map. On top of doing all of that, you're capable of changing the settings within the match. So I can take away and make it only pistols. I can make it snipers and shotguns only. I can change the time in the rounds. There's a lot of cool things you can do, which I'm not going to do right now. But this is the one feature that I think is a big one that is necessary for the next MGO. And I hope that the developers put it into the game. Secondly, I want to talk about game modes, and there's a lot of them to discuss. This one is probably the most important. It's called Sneaking Mission. This is where you get to play as Solid Snake, and then two teams fight against each other. And while they're fighting, they're trying to kill off each other. They're trying to find Snake, but Snake is also trying to steal their dog tags. And this is such a cool mode. I do think that it's necessary for it to be in the next MGO. That's number one. Now, a bigger conversation to get into is the stealth deathmatch. This is one of the craziest matches. The ring closes just like a battle royale, and you have stealth suits, and you can just go crazy in this mode. Right? I do think that battle royale would fit perfectly in MGO. It would be exciting and interesting. And moreover, the extraction shooter genre was made for Metal Gear because you have your Fulton ability to extract players. So you can actually just eliminate a player by extracting them. And that's something MGO pioneered years ago, and it can bring it back into the game. Okay, there's things like cap, which is definitely looks like what we saw in the teaser, which I'll talk about in a minute. That's super important. Or maybe they put it into rescue where you're trying to get that character, possibly. We don't know for sure, but again, these are speculations on what is coming. Another mode that is a mandatory is team sneaking. This is probably the most popular mode, where one team has stealth camo and the other team is defending, and they have to stop the other team, and they have lethal weapons. It's a fun mode and exciting, and always the best in this series. And so I bring all this up to kind of hint at the possibilities of what they could do and why they should do it also. So you can agree or disagree with some of those things, but for MGO 2, those are some of the features that are must-haves, in my opinion, if they're going to be bringing it back. Now, will it be a remake of Part 1 and they just have a couple of modes? Or will they actually go all in and give us the bigger picture is the question, where, you know, we can get into debate and conversations about what is or what isn't or what should be. But now I want to talk about Part 3. And the one thing that Part 3 did good was that they hosted official tournaments very early on. You know, that was important for the community, and they had official tournaments that they had. And then of course I ran my tournaments, which I'm gonna do for this next MGO, but the official ones are the best because you get to really go in there and see who's the best in the world as well, which would be a fun and exciting thing in my personal opinion. And so again, we want Metal Gear Online to succeed. And so I have some more ideas that are very important that I think can be very key. So now, will you make Metal Gear Online free to play? I believe that off rip, this should release individually, separate from Delta. It should be that the Delta players get exclusive items and things, you know, skins or something within MGO, but everybody in the world can play this for free. And what that does is bring people closer together to want to play Metal Gear. And now there's the online component, which adds value. Now, Konami probably already has their game plan and they're just going to release it together. And the thing is the reason I say free is because I believe it should have a big package. Should it have a season pass? Should it have, you know, events every month or every week or whatever? Yes, all of these things that are typical in nowadays free to play games, I'm fine with. But the key thing that I'm trying to point out is that this needs to be a bigger product and separated from the story, because the story is so big that people won't think about playing online. I know people who still don't know that online exists to this day, and it wasn't until I told them. And so this can change if you make it free to play and you make a big marketing push for it. And then the people who own Delta will get the free skins. They'll get a lot of free stuff, and they basically get rewarded with cosmetic things that make it even better. So anything that you win or get during the story, you can wear, and for skins or for, you know, outfits, something that you can do. I think that would be a great feature, and that way the players who buy the story can also show off like, hey, I own the real game and I can come in. And that's just my opinion. Now, there's a lot of other things that the industry does when it comes to online, and I didn't want to go through too many details and kind of go overload on you guys, but I just wanted to share some of the key elements that I think make MGO special when it comes to features. Of course, you know, I can do longer, bigger descriptions about everything else. But for now, if this was informative, exciting, or interesting, leave a like to support the channel, and a comment if you want to talk about this, share your opinions, as well as have a chance to win a copy of the game. So that's what we got for you. Hope you enjoyed this MGO possibility. See you later. Peace.